For the discussion portion of the project, we took a two-step process, or two major step process. The first step is shown here on this first slide, where we took an FMEA type approach, where we listed all the alternatives and then graded that specific alternative to four major categories. The first one being schedule, to understand if we thought the alternative would take a long time or a short time to implement. A second category was cost, significant cost or low cost. Resources, many resources or few resources. And then the fourth column was effectiveness of the alternative to address what we said as our problem statement, not being able to get the plane off the ground. We then took the values assigned in each of these four columns and summed them up to create the value in our column on the far right here, which we labeled as the ranking priority number. This value, the smaller the value, the better the solution. So the shortest schedule, the least cost, the fewest resources, and the most effective. The second portion that I alluded to is this matrix shown here. Now there are several sub-steps of this step. The first step was to list all alternatives in the top columns here. As a second step, we then listed all major and minor factors off to the left. As a third step, we then filled in all the cells that corresponded between the alternatives and the major factors. So for instance, if we thought a specific alternative addressed a major or minor factor, we assigned a value of 1. If we thought there was no link, we assigned a value of 0. For step 4, we then summed the values for the major and minor factors that were identified in step 3. This gave us some ranking between the alternatives and for which alternative solved the most factors. As a step 5, we then copied over the ranking priority number that we identified on the previous slide per each alternative at the very bottom here. With this information, this helped us identify our top alternatives. So from the graph shows, it's pretty obvious from a visual perspective that there's 5 major alternatives that seem to address the majority of our major factors fairly well. But what's unclear is what is the best of the top 5 here, and that's where the ranking priority number came in. So the lowest value helped us identify the best of the 5. So in the next slides, Cesar will review the details of each of the 5 alternatives that we identified here.